Hi everyone, it's Nikki again. I am back with another video. So I'm making this video because I just wanted it to be helpful for those of you who are applying for UCLA this fall in 2020 for the TFT program or Theater, Film, and Television. I applied for the theater program with an emphasis on design and production, and I'll be going over my portfolio, my supplemental, just generally, and my interview experience. So we'll be getting into that right now. I applied for this specific emphasis because I had an interest in costume design. I went to a community college, so I am a transfer student. So I've been doing community college for the past, I guess right now I'm technically in my third year, I'm technically in my junior year, but I did hop from a film school to a community college and then another community college. So yeah, I jumped around a little bit, which is why it took me 3 years, but all that matters is that I have a better idea of where I want to be in my career. So the transfer process that I used in order for me to be able to transfer to any UC successfully was the IGETC or the IGETC. It's pretty common to use the IGETC in order to transfer to a UC or a CSU, etc., because the courses that you take or that you're required to take within this process, they line up with the curriculum of those colleges that you would like to transfer to. So I did that, I got that done. I did take theater classes, not only for the IGETC, but also for the UC to be able to know that it's actually an interest of mine, that I'm not just taking it here or there, like they know that that's something I want to be a part of, the entertainment industry, if you will. Theater classes I took, which is why I transferred to a second community college, because they had a great theater program. I took a beginning costume class. I'm currently taking an intermediate costume design class. I took a stage crew activity class, which is basically you're getting hours for working on school theater productions. And I took an intro to theater history class. I took a intro to musical theater history class. I believe that's it. Yeah, those are all the classes that I took regarding theater specifically. But way before that, I did take a film history class. So I guess I have a little bit of knowledge everywhere about the industry. So I thought that would be helpful to continue taking all those theater classes again. So the UC knows that that's what I'm interested in. You fill out the UC app as you normally would. You have your essay questions, you fill out all of the necessary information, etc. You have all that done, but something that's really important is that when you're filling out what major you're applying for and you want to be in the theater school as your number one, that's the school I want to go to, even if you're considering other schools, even if you're considering an English major, you have to put theater or film first in that first box for top priority or something of that sort. You have to put it there, or else the theater school will not even consider your application. So please make sure that you put theater or film, whichever major you are applying for, put that as your top priority. So just make sure you fill out your UC application by November 30th. I did have a tutor help me to proofread and help me brainstorm ideas for my essay questions that I answered, just to make sure I had all my thoughts down and that I was really articulate. So she was a great help. Taylor, if you're watching this, girl, I probably you're probably not watching this. I doubt you're watching this, but she was such a great help. So yeah. The next thing you need to do is to fill out your theater supplemental or your film supplemental. So when you're filling out your supplemental, the first thing you need to do is turn in your UC application. And I did not know that until I tried to start my supplemental during the month of November, and it said I had to have, it said that I needed to turn in my UC application beforehand because you need the little, there's like a code or a series of numbers for your user ID. It's like a UC application ID, something of that sort. You have to have that before you even start your supplemental. So please make sure you turn in your UC app beforehand. So if there's anything that you accidentally forgot or that you accidentally skipped over when reading all of the requirements for your supplemental, just make sure you turn it in early. I know I've said it a million times, but just make sure you turn in your UC application early because the supplemental is due only a couple weeks after you turn in your UC application on November 30th. So you have to turn in those personal insight questions from your regular UC app. So just turn in like a regular document. You have to have a photo of yourself, just like a simple headshot. I literally just had my mom take a picture of me, like I'll put it somewhere up here, like of what I turned in for my headshot. And it's just a simple photo. Like it's not glamorous, it's just a regular picture of you. So you have to have your resume in your supplemental. So there is a required theatrical resume, and there's also an optional other experience resume. So I did not turn in 2 resumes. I only turned in the 1 theatrical resume, and I did include both my theatrical experience and my film experience interning. So if you have done any film experience on top of theatrical experience, or even if you haven't had any theatrical experience and only film, put it in, because any experience is experience. So it really shouldn't matter that much. And the next thing you need to include is your design approach. You had to pick any work of writing from that's Shakespearean, Ming dynasties, was it the Golden Spanish Age, or the Spanish Golden Age, etc. And you had to create your own, literally your own design approach. How would you design this show? So I picked A Midsummer's Night Dream. So you can pick any period of time, you can pick any setting, like you can do whatever you want. Of course, you have to keep it within that similar, at least, storyline. But how would you design the set? What would the costumes look like? What would the makeup look like, etc.? So that's what they are asking of for the design approach. So after you have your little design approach down, you know what the set's gonna look like, you know what the setting is, you know what the period of time is, you know what those costumes look like, etc. You put that all in an essay describing it. Make sure you are detailed. And then the next thing, it's optional, but you can create some visuals for what you were describing in your essay. So for me, I made a mood board including all of the characters and what I wanted them, generally like the feel of what they were wearing. Like that's what I did. So it was essentially a mood board or a character concept board. So that's what I did to give visual representation, because I thought, why not? I have time. I literally just did it on a PowerPoint page, collaged all the pictures together, and that was it. Like, it was literally that easy. So that's what I did. And then the next thing you have is your portfolio. Of course, your portfolio. Yes, my favorite part. So literally just compile all of the great work you've done. I included things that I did when I went to the film school I went to, when I first graduated from high school, or after I graduated from high school. And I also included things that I had done recently with filming, or like working with other film students, and then like for costume design. And then I also included sketches, and my sketches, I will tell you, because I will also be showing you, but my sketches weren't that great, because I really started like, you know, frequently, like continuously sketching in the fall of 2019. So, you know, I'm not like, you know, a great sketcher to just begin with. So of course, with everything, it takes practice, it takes time. And so I included my sketches regardless of if I thought they were beautiful or not. You know what I'm saying? Because none of them were beautiful, but I did want to show my progress. And that's the important thing. Show your progress through your portfolio. So you want to have something you don't really like as much as the first one, and then you want to end it with what you think is the best thing about all the work you've done. Like I added in pants I made for Flognaw, for Camp Flognaw, and I'll put the picture up here. I made these pants, I made my own pattern, and I included that in my portfolio because I made a sketch of what I wanted my outfit to look like, and the sketch isn't that great, but it shows you what my intention was with my design. So that's literally, again, that is all that matters. They just want to see your progress. From point A to point Z, they want to see it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying to pick something that you literally have no confidence about. Don't do that to yourself. Go into it with confidence, because, you know, you're putting all of that energy into what you're submitting. So make sure you're putting in those things that you do enjoy, even though you're like, oh man, this isn't perfect. And I'm a perfectionist. I get it. I am a 1,000,000% perfectionist. And I'm like, oh man, I really don't like this sketch, but you know what? It's really not that bad. And I have this sketch that I did a couple weeks later, and it really shows my improvement. So put that in your portfolio. The last thing you need to include is your unofficial transcript or transcripts. I had to submit 2 unofficial transcripts because obviously, like I said earlier, I went to 2 different community colleges over the course of 3 years. So that's what I included. You have to include them all. So for the interview section of this video, I was contacted 4 days after I submitted my supplemental application. So December 13th was when I submitted it. So on December 17th, I received an email stating that they wanted me to sign up for an interview date. The fee for an interview is $70, I believe, which is expensive. But I know that I think at that point when they contact you to schedule an interview, you have to schedule an interview. And also, as I've read and heard, not everyone gets contacted for an interview, but that does not mean that they are no longer considering you for admission. It just means that they feel like they've gotten enough from you, and they've either are set, or they're probably set on their decision about you. And that does not mean it's negative. That is not a negative thing. For an interview, it usually means that they just want to get to know you a little bit more. And either that means they're really interested. I mean, it can go either way. They're really interested in you. They feel like they see all these things. They're like, okay, cool, but there's something like we want to know a little bit more. Like there could be something that they feel like is not exactly clear, or they want to make sure that you know you want to be there at UCLA. So that's kind of what I think for the reason why they don't contact everyone for an interview. So we'll get into it. So I scheduled my interview for January 25th at 8:30 a.m. at the UC Berkeley campus. So yeah, that's what I did. To prepare for your interview, all you need to do is literally just make sure you have all your supplemental materials together, because they want you to compile them into one like booklet, I guess you could say, like a booklet of some sort. I did that. I went to Kinko's or FedEx, whatever you want to call it, and I like compiled it into this little booklet here. I'm not gonna show the front right now because it has like, you know, my phone number on it and stuff, but yeah, so I printed mine at Kinko's, like I said. I'm sure you can print it at like Costco or your drugstore, but I really wanted mine to look professional, and I asked to get 2 printed, and I believe it was no more than $14 or $15 to print out 2, so it was maybe $7 for each one. And the reason why I printed out 2 is because I had no idea if I would have 2 people interviewing me rather than 1, or most of all, I just wanted to have a copy for myself just in case, so I could be able to look over it after giving my portfolio to them at the check-in, or my supplemental information at the check-in. So that ended up being very helpful for me, getting 2 of those made. And make sure that not only you compile your supplemental materials, but you also have to review it. Look over that, girl. Look over that, dude. Like, you know, like look over that. Read through what your experience was. Look over your resume. Look over your design approach. Look over your visual representation of your design approach if you chose to do that. Make sure you go into your interview knowing what your work is, knowing what you're talking about. That's very important. So you're not tripping up on your words and being like, oh wait, did I include that in my portfolio? Like, make sure you're reading over it. And that's again why, at least for me, in my experience, I suggest at least having, like, even if it's like a cheaper copy of the nice copy you're turning in to check in, make sure you have a copy for yourself to look over while you're waiting to go in for your interview if you have some downtime. I got there at 15 minutes before. They ask you to come in 15 minutes early to check in, to make sure everything's cool, especially because it's not just you coming in, it's probably around like 50 other people coming in too. That because it includes not only design and production, it's acting, integrated studies, musical theater. So you have all these students from all over coming in for their appointment or coming in for their interview as well. So I turned in my little supplemental booklet and kept, you know, the extra one for myself just in case if I had downtime. You go into a room and there is an informational session for 1 hour. So I had my mom come with me just so she would be able to listen in as well if she had any questions. I ended up having a couple of questions regarding transferring and what my classes would look like, etc., if they happen to know. The professor leading the informational session was very personable, he was funny, and he actually ended up interviewing me, which I didn't realize was gonna happen. And it was quite funny because he remembered me from my multiple question, but anyway. And I waited about 40 minutes in order to get in for my interview. So from 8:30 to 9:30 was the informational session. They gave us a bathroom break after. The musical theater and acting kids, like, you know, they were already in their movement wear, so they just went off to, you know, do their audition stuff. But there were only 7 of us sitting and waiting for our interview. And of those 7 of us, 2 of us were design and production, and the other 5 were integrated studies. So integrated studies is like directing, writing, etc., and you get to compile all the things you're interested in basically in a certain plan, and you're able to focus on that for your time at UCLA. I was the last one to go in, and there were about 4 interviewers. I was at UC Berkeley for probably no more than 2 hours, 15 minutes maybe, because my interview was actually quite short. I did not expect that. My interview was probably at maybe around 7 minutes long. Why did you transfer from Community College A to Community College B, if this question applies to you? Do you want to do costume design for only film and TV, only theater, or both? Or in general, in which areas, film, TV, or theater do you plan on working in? Would you be interested in taking classes outside of costume design? Or in general, would you be interested in taking classes outside of your main career focus? Does your resume include all of your total theater experience? I was asked this question because my resume included mostly film work rather than theater work. What are examples of tasks that you had to fulfill while working on theater productions, relevant jobs, etc.? How are you fulfilling your transfer credit requirement? Earlier, I explained the IGETC. That's how I fulfilled my requirements, but this question will depend on if you are a transfer student. When did you gain interest in costume design, or generally, when did you gain interest in your desired career? The questions that they ask are not to trick you. They are very much catered to your work, your resume, your design approach, your portfolio. It's all about you. They want to get to know your personality, they want to know your background, they want to know why you're interested, because they want to make sure that you know what you're applying for. They want to make sure you know in your gut that you want to be there. And they do go over that he did go over that in his informational session at the beginning. They don't care about the academics at this point, you know. They just want to get to know your theater experience, your film experience, etc. They want to know that entertainment industry side of you, because, you know, your UC app is about the academics and the extracurricular stuff like that. This is about the exact major that you want to be in, the industry that you want to be a part of. I just wanted to insert this little clip from one of my other videos, and I just want to give you guys an idea of the outfit that I wore to my interview. All I did, instead of wearing the top, the turtleneck tank top, I wore a long sleeve turtleneck, still a black turtleneck, with those same shoes, same pants. I wanted to give my outfit a more business casual look because I assumed that's what the attire would be across the board, and it seemed to be that way when I arrived at my interview. So there you go, little styling tips if you're curious. And to give some more examples of outfits for all genders, you can do a simple button-up shirt with some nice trousers, a sweater, a nice shirt, etc. Others were wearing dresses or a nice skirt, but make sure to keep it business casual. This is a long one, girl. A long video. And that is the end of this video. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions at all, put those comments down below. Let me know if you have any questions or if I even helped you at all. That would be so great to know, because I love helping people. And since this was something like this was not available or out there when I was trying to figure out what do I do, like what do I wear, like oh my gosh, like what do I have to have in my portfolio, etc. So I'm hoping that this will be of great help to any of you guys out there applying for UCLA in the future. I hope you guys have an awesome, great day, and please stay safe out there, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.